ever wonder why when you go to a website and you're looking around and shopping, say, for example, a pet food site, and you're looking for dog food or cat food, and then later you go to another website, let's say CNN or a news media source, and all of a sudden banners pop up from the same company, or that they're trying to market you for the same food, or if you go to your Twitter feed or your other social media feeds and you start seeing ads that seem directed towards pet food or pets stuff, or if you have something in your shopping cart and later you get an email, hey, check out for this special deal. Well, that's all digital marketing and social media marketing. And in this last section, we're going to cover some of those and some of those international components and ways to strategize. But where does this all start? When it comes to e-commerce, it all started back in the 90s with Pierre Omidyar, the founder of eBay. And I was fortunate to work for him as an intern in Hawaii. It fascinated me. I got to hear his story, how he started eBay when there was no trust and nobody was really selling to one another. Nobody was really selling at all. So he believed people are generally good and we could create programs and systems in place that amplify that. And he coded and created something and sold a broken laser pointer. And that's what started this whole new revolution. So yeah, today it's very different. Today, we are very much connected to technology with smartphones now. It's pervasive with social technologies like Facebook and their programs, Instagram and WhatsApp or TikTok and Twitter. Everybody has their programs, and so everything's become this massive information distribution ecosystem. And so you have to be careful and mindful that what's true and not true anymore. What I do respect is that even with some of the things that happened during COVID, a lot of those sites like eBay and Amazon stepped up their game and made major changes and fixes where they could, when they could, to prevent either disinformation or poor bad merchants who were selling fake stuff like fake masks or making fake unverified posts about products. So a lot has changed, but it's still very much different today. We live in a society where we can never leave home without it anymore. We have to have our phone. Where to go? Oh my God, I forgot my phone. Or, people are constantly scrolling through social media sites and news sites while they're in the bathroom. Or people believe this veil that people don't know who you are. And you could say extremely nasty things that I would never imagine people would think is okay in real life. But with COVID, we also found an extreme version of fearing of missing out, where people felt like they had to be connected, and that people wanted to be, we also found a new drive of people wanting to be face-to-face, but also working in an online setting. For thousands of years, we've been very social type creatures in a sense, to all of a sudden now being in front of people and constantly connected, to all of a sudden now being completely online. And some people are further and further isolated than ever before. So we got to find healthy relationships with social media and being constantly connected. But as a business person, we have to be mindful. If you're mindful and aware as a individual, you should be you'll be better equipped in understanding these tools as a marketer. So what's out there? We have digital marketing, the big term of selling and marketing goods and services online through email or websites and search engines. We have social media where messaging becomes apparent and people can share and connect with each other. I stayed connected with friends for years now. When I was on Facebook, mobile computing, where now it's all on my phone and I can stay connected and meet and find ways to schedule and hang out with people. Social media meant to be social and connected, not further removed. So yeah, make sure that's in mind as an individual. But as a marketer, there are some things we should worry about, and also the international components. As an international marketer, in general, whether you're a fully equipped digital marketer or not, you need to understand platform integration, data collection and analyzing and collecting data, creating attraction, understanding campaigns, cybersecurity concerns, and I'll also address ethics and laws. When it comes to platform integration, back then, everything was so isolated in their own programs that it was hard to get them to work together. Imagine, I switched from Samsung to Apple in 2015. Today, it's much easier than it was before. So amazing data integration where MailChimps, and you collect emails and data and that people share with you, and you can reach them broadly, or they give you more information about them, and you can target them directly. Oh, these people these are women who are buying women's clothes, and these are men buying men's clothes. So my emails will be driven to those categories. Cookies, where we now could go from site to site, as I mentioned earlier. Messages can be timed and integrated into multiple platforms, from Twitter to Facebook, and including even Instagram and TikTok. When we're collecting data and analyzing it, we have to be mindful it's not just any data, it's got to be smart data. We got to collect good things. We have to ask good questions. What are we going to collect, and why are we collecting it? The information that we know today is so amazing. Where before, I would segment my market based on generic stuff: college age, 18 to 25, white male, interested in athleisure or something very basic. Today, the marketers know my foot size, where I live, how long I've been online, where I've been online, what am I doing online, and it's transferring under cookies and caches, and it's all integrating, and they're following me in more invasive, personal ways. So that allows a lot of power for a marketer, and you need to be aware of what you're doing, your marketers are doing, or the third parties you're contracting with that are your advertisers and the programs they're doing. So be mindful of that. You also got to learn and understand that you got to create traction, a market penetration, and fight all the noise that's out there. Everybody's screaming. How are you going to stand out with the data you're collecting and the messages that you're driving that will help you connect with your customers in a very empathetic way that will help you drive sales? Well, what kind of campaigns are you going to create? A lot of people used to think back in the mid-2000s, oh, it's just, social media, we can post something and it's cute and it's sweet. And no, campaigns need to be sales driven. You are a marketing salesperson. You are making money for the company. Social media is not a toy and something fun. It's a tool that costs the company a lot of money. So remember that. You got to be on there. You got to be driving sales. Today, with platform integration and social media integration, you got to learn to integrate activities and campaigns together, streamlining programs where influencers are selling your products for you. How many YouTube videos that say subscribe and connect or link every time? Or, hey, look about this cool thing, I'm selling because I'm selling it. Even though I like watching somebody about cooking, and they're always showing me new stuff to buy for food or cooking, and their recommendations not usually effective, but gets us my interest. Streamlining, you got to ask, as an international marketer, do we want to streamline our programs or target campaigns? Streamline programs meaning all things on one message, or do we want to have more direct messaging to targeted customers because we have more data? And the international consideration is understanding, these are people, this is a different backyard. These are different people. And understanding that what you will sell there is accessible is targeted, but they can still reach you in other markets and see what you're saying. Something that's completely, used to be more isolated. If Microsoft is doing a campaign in the United States, somebody in Japan or China can see it now. And you have cybersecurity concerns. The information you're collecting and housing, whether it's payment methods, data about who I am, you gotta protect and you gotta be transparent about what's going on if there are security breaches. It is unethical and in many countries illegal if there's a breach and you don't share it. So what ethics should we consider? We're tracking customers. in very personal ways. In as much as that's power. So you got to ask what you're collecting and why you're collecting it, and what's it for, and how are you going to store it, and have you informed them of this? Do they know that you're collecting? In the old wild west of the early 2000s, the companies were just collecting and weren't being fair about it. And now, iPhone has come out, or Apple has put on more guardrails so I can protect what data is being collected. Also, it's not just in the name of the company. It shouldn't be. But also you need to understand, how are you topical with your programs, your campaigns? Because, the companies now all want to be in everybody's movements. There's something that bad happens in society and it's not good. Somebody dies, or hopefully not, but if somebody is there's out there a hashtag, save or find this child, and you're saying, hey, buy my shoes, hashtag save this child. You can't piggyback on that. That's grotesque. And so understand the topicality. People jumping on Black Lives Matter movements in their companies, and are you really caring about our cause, or are you just trying to sell me your product? These cause and movements are a very fine line between connecting with your customers and showing that you care, to being caught up in something that is not genuine and not authentic, or getting wrapped up in something and misconstrued for it, especially when it comes to different markets. So be careful of that. Laws, tracking cookies. There are new laws that have to show what you're tracking and give people a chance to not be tracked. How you collect and transfer data, whether it's customer data, employee data, client information. If it's crossing a border, it might have a law. In the European Union, they have the GDPR, the data protection laws, that you cannot take any of that information in data form and send it to other markets like the United States. For example, I want to have my wages of all my employees transparent, so everybody knows what they're getting paid. So if a forklift driver in Canada can get paid the same as a forklift driver in Portugal, we're being fair. And I know it because if somebody's in Canada making more money than me, I can know. Well, a company got in trouble for doing that because they shared and brought information across borders that was private. So be careful with that. So good practice is, before you send it across a border as a company and you collected it, check if it's being funneled and processed correctly before transferring it, or don't transfer at all, or you're going to be in trouble. So things that you need to be understanding as an ethical marketer, and what you should be aware of. Privacy data breaches is a big one, but being honest and transparent as a company. In my studies on e-commerce and standard form contracts and things that don't go well in a deal between me and say eBay, the studies have shown that companies that are fair and transparent and honest have the best reactions in customers that they, especially in e-commerce, have in understanding what's going on. So always be mindful of that, and knowing that if you cover those three bases, even if a customer gets a negative response, they will feel comfortable about coming back to you, or more likely to come back to your business if they felt fair and fairly dealt with. So keep in mind your own experiences, your own information, the things that you're sharing or you don't want taken from a company. And think as a marketer, in your home market and abroad, how would you want that to be out there? What programs you want to be a part of? What campaigns you want to put together? What laws you're going to follow? And how are you going to protect it? And how are you going to be mindful of what people want, and not overreach yourself. So you have a lot to play with in today's market. And so I always recommend you take your time, reflect on yourself too, before you consider the programs you're going into, or the campaign programs that you're starting in your market and others. So without further ado, you'll see the subsequent videos sharing some of these strategies.